Last year, I would have been looking
Mhm.
at myself like I'm a whole boss,
Yeah.
for this. It's so cool. Like I dreamed of something like this happening.
Welcome to Leaf Notes, the podcast that helps your business take root and grow. I'm Adria Marshall, seasoned business owner and speaker.
And I'm Sydney Mafuka, artist, illustrator, and small business owner.
Join us each week as we take you on a journey through the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. We'll dive into everything from social media strategy to protecting your business.
We'll even answer your burning questions such as, do I need a business plan? Should I form an LLC? Where should I promote my business? And so much more.
Together with our guests, we'll break down these topics into actionable steps, helping you build the business of your dreams.
So whether you're just starting or you're looking to scale, we got you covered.
So go grab your notebooks, your favorite beverage, and cozy up to receive practical insights and inspiration here on Leaf Notes. Let's go make your business dreams a reality.
So I'm doing a project, and it's not even just a project. It's also with brand collaborations and stuff like that. Figuring out what my worth is and standing by it.
Hmm.
That's something that I've been struggling with. So this week I actually made a media kit where for at least for brand deals and stuff like
Hmm.
that. And that was really cool because I was able to see how much I should be charging. And I actually got to use it for the first time this week and I have a deal, which is amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's really hard. I think when it comes to art and things I enjoy doing, like I enjoyed making reels. Like I love it. It's really easy for me to just be like, "Oh, I enjoy it." It's like nothing. Like it doesn't
Hmm.
I don't know why I associate work with things that I don't enjoy. Like, "Oh, I should get paid for things I don't want to do." You know what I mean?
Right, right.
When when that's not my ultimate goal. My ultimate goal is to live the life that I love, doing the things that I love, right? And by doing
Exactly.
that, you have to know your worth. So that's been a little bit of a tough pill to swallow. I think it's because I have a hard time for asking for things. I'm
Hmm.
very people pleasy, which is something I'm working on, but it was a
Yep.
really cool step to really set my prices. And I guess we'll talk about this in a future episode, but we also talked about my commission rate and what my prices should
Hmm.
be for that. And it's crazy because when we were talking about it, I didn't think I deserved it.
Hmm.
And I think I was talking to my friend earlier today about how I think it's important for every artist or every entrepreneur to have some sort of ego,
Yeah.
and not in the ego of like you don't want to learn anything new and you're already the best, but having the ego of being like no one can do it like you can. No
Hmm.
one is you. No one has the mind that you have.
Hmm.
And I think when you look at it in that way, then you're able to be like, okay, well, then I'm deserving of this because I'm me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's something that I'm definitely going to be working on. But it was really cool to be able to set my rates and to stick by them. And I was tested with this brand deal because at first we were going back and forth, and they were like, "Can we just do gifted?" And I was like, "I was like, no."
Yeah. So why don't you share a little bit? Why don't you share a little bit about the background of working with this brand? You worked with this brand like a couple of months ago, right? And so let's kind of
Mhm.
share the whole evolution of how we ended up at the media kit.
So a couple months ago, I reached out to this brand and it was I asked for a gifted collaboration because I've never done anything with a brand before. So I was like, I don't even know how my branded content will do or perform.
Hmm.
So I feel like a gifted collaboration would be kind of cool for you to test the waters. Plus,
Hmm.
I really wanted this item and I really respect the brand and
Hmm.
yeah, I view them on a high level.
Yeah.
So, they agreed, which was amazing, a huge milestone for me.
Hmm.
And I the my, that was that I did a reel for them. I actually did multiple reels for them,
Hmm.
and one of them got over 260,000 views on Instagram and over 66,000 views on TikTok. And so it did really well, and they asked
Hmm.
to work with me again. And
Hmm.
this time around, I wanted to be compensated for
Right.
the time because I feel like I put a lot of effort and creativity and work into what I do, and I have a lot of heart. So I
Right.
feel, yeah.
So I'm sure like emotionally that was kind of scary, right? When they were saying we just want to do another collab with you, but you're like you want to be compensated for it. So that's when you decide that you would do your media kit.
Because I had a gut feeling. Like when they reached out to me, I had a feeling that they were trying to do like another gifted. And I had a gut feeling where I was like, you know what? I think I should be paid this time. You know?
Yeah,
Part of me was like, oh, you can just, cave in and just get another free thing and call it a day, or like you can get paid, which is even better.
right, right.
So yeah, that's when I went to mom and was like, "Can you help me? Especially because you're a brand owner, so you know what you're looking for when it comes to
Hmm.
things like this." And you did. And so I made my brand kit, my media kit,
Hmm.
and I had all my analytics. I made it really professional, and I felt like it really spoke to it. It resembled me, like I designed it and everything,
Hmm.
added my own little artistic flair. And at first, they were like, "Can you do gifted like you did last time?" And I was like, "Oh no, guys, I don't want to." So then I had to kindly decline, and I thought that was gonna be
Hmm.
it, but it wasn't it. So then they said, "We'll give you the item along with a little bit of cash, like the
Yep,
cash that I asked for, pretty much." And yeah, and
that is
I was
awesome.
really honored because it meant that like they really wanted to work with me, and that I which is iffy. So I don't want my worth. This is something I'm working on because look, every time I finish a commission, every time I do something and someone gives me words of affirmation, which is literally my love language,
Yeah.
um, then I feel really good about myself.
Hmm.
So I think I need to work on knowing that and
Hmm.
not needing anyone to tell me that, because I literally need it. I'll be full when people tell me that. I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm full. Thank you so much. I was hungry, but now I am good." Um, so yeah, it's something I need to work on, but it was very validating. It meant a lot that because I just thought the last email was going to be it, and
Yeah.
that they were just going to go with whatever they already had planned, but it meant so much.
Got it. So now you get a product to try that you really wanted, and you get compensated monetarily for it as
Yeah, which
well.
is like I have a vision board. And I think this was like one of the things like that I really really wanted. Like last year I would have been looking
Hmm.
at myself like I'm a whole boss,
Yeah,
for this cuz it's so cool. Like I dreamed of something like this happening.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
So I went ahead and made my media kit, but first I want to show you where I got my information from and how it all happened. So let's do this. Okay, so first and foremost, you want to open the Instagram app and you want to go to Insights. So click on this hamburger menu, Insights. And what we want to do is do maybe account engaged and do over the last 90 days, I believe. So we did. Boop. Update. And this is where you're going to find all the information, the top performing reels, and likes, etc., etc., etc. And this is where I'll be writing everything down for Instagram and all that for my media kit. For TikTok, you want to go into the TikTok app. You want to click on that hamburger menu. Go to, I think it's the Business Suite, or is it Creative Tools? We're going to find out. Let's click Business Suite Analytics, and it's loading, and it's still loading. And then here are some numbers, and you can also do the last 12 weeks. Okay, and so here are the numbers, and then the top performing videos here, as well as like engagement numbers, likes, comments, shares, all those things. And yeah, I use all this information, and now I will show you how it's all laid out on the sheet and how my mom and I kind of organized it before I actually went into doing the media kit. So here is the media sheet, including the rate card. So these are the rates I decided to go with. And then my little analytics for Instagram with the accounts reached, the demographics, I decided to write those down as well, ages, and same thing with TikTok, the followers I have, the demographic, the account reached, and the demographic as well, which is super cool. And then right here, we have just a general breakdown of how I know that at the top of my media kit, I know that I want to have Instagram, TikTok, the number of followers, and my engagement rate. So yeah, and I also have it laid out to where, see the this little form, this little chart here will be up top, then my about section will happen, then my rate card will happen, and then the rest of the information will be at the bottom, because it's still important, but maybe not as important as the general information here in the about me section. So yeah, now let's look at the media kit that I actually did. So this is my media kit. We are currently in Procreate. This is what I use to design pretty much anything, unless I need to do some vector work, which I will use Illustrator. But as you can see, we have my name here, the fact that I am an artist and content creator, the logos for two of the platforms that I mainly use, and their engagement rate and followers, a little about me section here. Yeah, a little bit about me, the services that I have, which was super cool because I thought, okay, I'm only gonna be doing reels and TikToks, but you can actually do story posts, you can do a still post like the carousels. I could do an ad, which like is like allowing them to use it for ads, and a newsletter feature, which maybe I could be featured in their newsletter or they could be featured in my newsletter because I'm building that slowly. And then towards the bottom here, you can see the rest of the analytics here, with that pie chart being the percentage of men and women for each platform, to a little bit more of a breakdown of the accounts that I actually reached, the age range, etc., 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 from the last 90 days. So this would be updated every 90 days. And then the photos that I picked over here on the edge, this is a photo that I took at the photo shoot with my mom for leaf notes. And also, these are the last two are from stills from my reels. So I think it came out really nice. And I made sure to use my brand color. My logo is like a lower opacity in the back. And I really love how it came out.
I think we're at a point where we can talk about, from a brand perspective,
Hmm.
what do brands, now that we know about my story of getting my free item or getting my collaboration, I would
Hmm.
say, actually, that's a better way of putting it.
Hmm.
Um, what does a brand expect from someone who is an influencer? Like, do you need a
Yeah.
certain amount of followers? And
Hmm.
then what rates are on your end?
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of information on Instagram of, obviously, people, charging their what they feel they are worth, and you are
Yeah.
what your number is your number. That's
Right.
not negotiable. That's fine. But I want to know, I think there's not enough information about what a brand may expect.
Yep.
Um so
So
yeah.
I can share some of that. So there are a few things that we look for. The most important, as far as working with an influencer, is their engagement rate. So a good engagement rate, in our perspective from our research, is around 3%. So we do look for the number of followers that you have, but the most important metric that we look for is your engagement rate. But this is a really great conversation because even up until about, I would say about 6 months ago, my social media team, my publicist, my ads manager, and me, we all had different points of view about how well an influencer would perform. And that makes a lot of sense because we're all coming at it from a different angle, right? So my social media team is thinking about social media in particular.
Mhm.
My ads managers think about how well will it perform on an ad. My
Mhm.
publicist is looking at it. Well, will it get us into this media outlet, right? So we're all looking at it from different angles. And so if you ask any one of us, is this influencer a good influencer for us to work with? One may say yes or no for different reasons. And so because of that, we actually put together a kit, and I'll share my screen and show you exactly what we look for. Then I'll dig down into some variables also.
I think it's really cool that you mentioned that each person that you work with has a different goal in
Mm-hmm.
mind, right? And that there are different ways to measure success when it comes to content
Yep.
because a content doesn't have to get a million views for it to generate really, really good sales.
Right. And sales isn't always the goal. And so this is like a much
Hmm.
larger topic and we can dig into it at some point. But what I did was and working with my marketing team, I developed goals for each one of those channels, right? And so for
Hmm.
my publicist, again, her goal is to get us into these publications, either print or digital, but her goal is not sales. Her goal is to build awareness. Her goal is to add people to our email list. That's her goal, right?
Mm,
And so if she's walking around trying to um, get sales, then that's not the goal that I have for her, right? And then
right.
my ads manager, we developed goals for him on my social media side, which is what we're mostly talking about when we talk about our influencers. There are some times that we want an influencer just for ads or
Hmm.
just to produce content that we can use in a media outlet. But the majority of the times, our influencer is for social media. And our primary goal for social media is to increase our engagement and brand awareness. And so,
Hmm.
because of that specific goal, the main thing that I look for with an influencer, of course, is their engagement rate. And so you kind of walk into it from that point of view. So I would encourage people to look at your marketing outlets and then to develop goals for each one of those channels.
That's really cool because and I'll let you get into
Hmm.
the numbers. But I think that's really cool because I feel, and I'm just really new to this whole
Hmm.
influencing thing, but I felt that pressure of like, let me like sell this product, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Let me let people know where they can get it from because I felt like that was like what would make my collaboration successful, right?
Yep.
And this is just coming from someone who's only been looking at people until now, who's only been looking at people, promote stuff and assuming, okay, that's what makes their thing successful.
Hmm.
But I think it makes a lot of sense that brand awareness is the main goal because I feel like that's the as weird as funny as it sounds, it's probably the easiest goal to meet. That's probably why they're reaching out to a certain
Hmm.
person or why they accepted a collaboration with a certain person, right?
And you know what? And that's not to say that that's the goal for every brand for their social
Mm-hmm.
media. So maybe a good point when you're working with a brand, maybe the good thing is for you to ask what is your goal for this campaign? You know, that may
Mm-hmm.
be a really good conversation. Like, is your goal sales? Is your goal brand awareness? And then you can craft a strategy to help them meet whatever goal that is. But for us, our goal for social media is brand awareness. Because of that, the engagement rate is mostly important. And so, with that in mind, we have a media or marketing partnership guide, and it breaks down from our brand ambassadors to our affiliates to our influencers what the framework is. So we have um, different tiers. And so if you have under 20,000 followers, we will still work with you, but the compensation in this example is free products.
Mm-hmm.
Between 20 and 50, that's when we start looking at your engagement, right? I mean, your engagement rate. So if you're under
Mm-hmm.
3%, there's one compensation plan. If you're over 3%, there's another compensation plan. And we break down everything from, you see, ad usage to the affiliate code to the promo codes. We try to think through as much as possible. And then let's see here. Then it goes from 50 to 100,000, same thing. Under 3%, there's one compensation plan. Over 3%, there's another compensation plan. So, and we do all this up to I think 200K followers.
Mm.
So we really sat down and thought about what made the most sense. And it's super helpful because now we are all singing from the same songbook, as I like to say.
That's super cool. That's awesome to see that you have something to at least look to. And I would imagine that depending on, like, have you ever had to negotiate with someone before?
Yeah. So it's, and this is not to say that we won't negotiate. And so let me back up to before we get to that point and say that. So
Mm-hmm.
once we say, okay, so this influencer has, these many followers, this engagement rate, there are some other things that we look for at that point. So we go to their page and we make sure that their values line up with our values, or at least are not in direct conflict with some of our values, right? So our value is on sustainability. So we don't want to see somebody who is like promoting the use of plastic or disregarding animal kindness or things like that, right? We do also look at their impressions, and we look at the demographic information also. So if that information is not easily available, then we ask them to include those metrics in their media kit. But still, the first two things that we're looking for again are engagement rate and follower count. And then we kind of drill down to the rest of those things. And then you are asking for something else?
Oh, okay. So I was going to ask, have you ever negotiated with someone before? Have
Yes.
they? Okay.
So, like I said, this is like a starting conversation, right? And so say
Mm-hmm.
that we say you have X number, your engagement rate is in this range, your followers are here. So we know, for example, we should be paying $500. So if an influencer immediately comes out the gate saying that they want 3,000, then we know, okay, this is a place just to end the conversation because it's kind of hard to make up that ground, right? But
Right.
if we say we should be paying 500, they're asking for 700, that is negotiable, and
Mm.
then we can talk through it. Well, then maybe we can negotiate on your ad, like maybe instead of 1 month ad usage, it's 3 months ad usage. Um,
Mm.
maybe instead of 500 or instead of $700 is $500, but with additional products. Maybe it's we instead of 10% affiliate code is 15% affiliate code. So then there
Mm.
is some wiggle room. But initially, this is mainly so I'm not telling what the same influencer that is $500 where my publicist is telling the influencer, oh yeah, 3,000 will work. And then we have to come
Right.
back and figure it out. So it just keeps things as streamlined as possible. But yeah, we definitely negotiate.
Does your publicist handle most of the communication when it comes to influencers, or do you mostly talk to them?
I would say it varies. So
Mm.
she may come across some influencers just in her line of work, like, hey, I found this person, or this person reached out to me. And she would normally say, well, she may still say, do you think is a good fit? But
Mm.
she's able to now have those immediate conversations with this influencer because she has the guide, right? And the same thing
Mm.
with my ad manager. He's on social all the time and he comes across different ads all the time, comes across people producing content all the time. So he may find somebody with like really gorgeous curly hair, thinking, hey, should we work with this person? But then now he's immediately able to start having those upfront conversations with them as well. So we all,
Mm.
and that's the whole point of this guide, is that we were all coming across influencers in different organic ways.
Mm.
So it kind of enables us to have like a meeting point. hmm
Super cool.
It's been really
Um,
helpful.
yeah, it sounds like it, especially because you have like other people looking out for you as well, just for
Yeah.
because you never know when you're gonna find someone that's
Well, and I'll tell you what's great too. Like I said, in the guide, we can talk about this in depth more, but we break down our brand ambassadors, we break down our wholesale affiliates, our
Mm,
affiliates and our influencers. So what's great too is that we'll have someone reach out to us and they're like, hey, we want to work with you guys. I'm able to give them the guide and say, okay, well, which tier do you think, which group you think you fit into best? So that they can say, oh yeah, because there's sometimes they can't decide, do I want, because to be a brand ambassador means that you're posting once a week, yeah, you get the free products, but there's a lot more that's involved with being a brand ambassador than just with an affiliate, right? So you may
mhm,
decide that you don't want all the requirements that come with the brand ambassador program, the application process and all of that. You would just rather just get an affiliate code. Or maybe you're a salon owner and you can be a wholesale partner with us and then get an affiliate code. And so just to be able to present those variety of options is really helpful also. Plus, on our site, there is a rewards program. And when you join the rewards program, you get an affiliate code. But that code
mm,
is used to give you and your followers a discount on your next purchase or on future purchases. So there's that option as well. So just being able to spell out all the variety of options. So it's just not a yes or no sort of thing. It's really helpful.
That sounds really helpful. Do you also send, like, I know for when I had my own, when I was collaborating with my brand for the first time, well, not my brand, but a brand for the first
Hmm.
time, they sent me a PowerPoint of like their values, their startup journey, and all of that.
Yep.
Do you do that as well?
We probably should include, so we have a brand guide. I think you helped design the brand guide, and it goes into our values as well and goes into like our colors and fonts and all of that. So it's probably room to add some of that information on here as well. It probably makes a lot of sense, or maybe it's a long guide. So yeah, it would probably make sense to include that with
mm.
this as well, or like a piece of it, so that our marketing partners know what our values are, what the personas are, what our brand colors are. So when they're making
Mhm.
content, they can follow that. That's a really good idea. I think we will add that to it.
Okay, so I suppose it's time for me to share my media kit. This is my brand kit. These photos, this is from the photo shoot that mom and I did together. And then I also included photos or stills from my reels. I just screenshotted some
Yep.
parts that I liked. I included at the top the main points, which are that I'm mostly on Instagram and TikTok with a following count of 23K on Instagram, and then I include
Yep.
my engagement rate, and same thing for TikTok, 7K engagement rate. And I also included a little about me
Hmm.
section, and I also included a little
Yep.
rate card, and and then at the bottom, just some further details about that were in my insights from the
Yep.
last 90 days, which include like demographic and accounts reached and things like
Perfect.
that, just for a little helpful information. And yeah, I was inspired by doing just one sheet because I saw that on Pinterest and I thought that looked nice and to the point. And yeah, so that's
So
my
things
media
that I
kit.
like about this, I like that it has incorporated your brand colors. That's great. I like that at the very top it shows the channels, the followers, and the engagement rate, because again, that's what I'm mostly interested in. And I do think, for the record, if you're going to have that conversation, we were talking about when a brand reaches out to you or you reach out to a brand, maybe this is like the standard kit that you have, but asking them what their goals are for the campaign, then you can tailor the metrics to what their goals are, right? And so if their goals happen to be
Mhm.
sales, then you can pull up sales metric. And on that note, one thing that I really, really, really like is when a influencer follows up after a collaboration and will provide stats on how well a campaign did. I think that's really, really helpful. Like here's what the post was that we did. Here's the engagement that we got, and all those types of metrics, and then you can use that in your future collabs with other brands to kind of show how that last collab was successful. So I like that you had um your social channels, followers, engagement rate. I really like the about section because, as I mentioned, what I'm going to do is then go to your page and to see what your values are, how they line up. But you kind of given me like a snippet of that here, which saves me a ton of time. So I appreciate that. And I really appreciate you having your rate card on the media kit itself versus having a separate card with that I have to ask for that comes later in a separate email, like having it all in one place and then having the demographic information at the bottom is very helpful. This is very clean and easy to read. So I think it's
Mhm.
perfect. Just out of curiosity, how much time did it take for you to put this together? And did you find it helpful for you to put together?
Oh, so I think all like with gathering the metrics and writing everything down and then actually designing it, I think it took me a couple hours. I will, but that's just finding the metrics, figuring out how to find your engagement rate and things like that. And writing and I wrote that all down on like a separate sheet. And then I went into actually like plugging it in once I got my design down. And so I I I would imagine that for maybe an average person, it would take less time than it took me, but I'm a little
Hmm.
extra. So, of
No, that's
course,
good.
I prioritize the design aspect of things as well.
Okay, but yeah, like I said, I would start like so when you finish this campaign, you're still doing this campaign with a client right now, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, after that's over, either provide I would either just send them an email with stats, ask them to have a quick call to discuss stats, and have them share sales data with you also.
Hmm.
And any other feedback that they have for you. That's always great. I even had one person that was really cool. She actually sent me a form for me to fill out. You know
Oh, that's cool.
how the collaboration went, things that I liked, things I didn't like. She provided me the metrics. She asked me for sales metrics, and then just for general feedback. I thought it was really really great.
That's cool. From a brand's
Mhm.
perspective, have you ever worked with somebody again?
Absolutely. Like you will find your people, your team.
Mm.
So I have a group of influencers that I worked with before that were just amazing to work with. The communication was really good. Their content was really good. Their rates were really good. And the outcome of the collab were good. Either sales, if that was the goal, or engagement, if that was the goal, were really good as well.
Super cool. Super inspiring.
Cool. And it's all, a work in progress. Like I said, we just put together our marketing partnership guide a few months ago, and we've been in business for over 8 years. So I would say it's not things that you have to do all at once, but definitely jot things down. And then as you continue to grow, just start to add things as you go along.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we hope that you found it helpful seeing not only my media kit, but my mom's brand expectations. We hope that this inspires you to go out there, create those media kits, and to also just collaborate with brands and stuff. But until then, go out there, be great, and we'll see you next time.
I think the benefit of owning your own business and being an entrepreneur or a consultant is like you got to pick and choose who you work with.
Hmm.
And if you pick right and you find those people, they're going to be in your
Yep.
corner.
Thank you for listening to Leaf Notes. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and drop a like and a comment letting us know what your takeaway was. And if you're just listening, head over to social media after taking a screenshot and tag us letting us know what your takeaway was. If you want to give us a rating, head over to your favorite podcast app and give us a 5-star rating or let us know what you think. This will help us connect with more business owners and creatives just like you. And with that being said, we hope that your business takes root and grows, and we'll see you next time.